Good evening, everybody. It's Halloween Eve here at FSU Weather, and we are celebrating in style.
It's pretty spooky around here. We got a lot of costumes, got a lot of great weather happening around our area.
Yep, and I'm student meteorologist Matt Reagan.
And I'm student meteorologist Ayesha Wilkinson, and we had some beautiful weather outside today.
Today was a gorgeous day. Great way to kick off Parents Weekend here on campus.
I cannot wait for that game. Syracuse versus the Noles, 12 p.m. kickoff. Are you ready?
I'm ready, and we're going to have more about that, the forecast, everything in the entire show. But right off the wires here, we are working a traffic crash at Stadium Drive and Tennessee Street. So if you are heading out to dinner with your parents or your folks tonight, just watch out and try to avoid that area.
Avoid that area, yeah, definitely. But we have the circus happening this weekend. We have the game. Just a lot of activities going on for Parents Weekend.
It's going to be a great weekend. Very busy weekend. I think we're going to all need that extra hour on Sunday to recover and sleep.
Right, and we're going to set our clocks backwards and get that extra hour. But we're not going to see any rain for Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween's going to be looking great out there. Maybe a couple passing clouds. Starting off gorgeous today and then into tomorrow, pretty much are the same, but Sunday things start to change.
That's right, and we might see a cold front hit around Monday, 60% chance of rain. But we're going to take it to our first local with, or overview actually, with Casey.
Thanks, guys. An interesting evening indeed with all the costumes that will be around. Now, on the show, we'll have many more coming up, so just stay tuned. Now, local radar across the area, all clear, nice conditions across the viewing circle. Great weather is around all across our Big Bend area and southwest Georgia. Now, in terms of those current conditions, we do see 83 degrees for Tallahassee, 82 in St. Mark's, upper 70s near the coast. Talking about 78 in the Caribou area, 76 Apalachicola. You get the idea, upper 70s, lower 80s around. Just nice conditions here across North Florida, South Georgia. Now, 57 tonight, it will be partly cloudy. It will be a bit of a cool night. Those winds at about 5 miles an hour. So it could be a little bit on the gusty side, but not too much. Just a nice evening to go out the night before Halloween. Parents Weekend as well. Maybe going to restaurants around town. Now, in terms of those weather headlines, we see it'll be a nice evening again. Tomorrow will be nice in the early day, but clouds and then rain showers will start to move their way into our forecast. But more throughout the show on that. But right now, back over to Ayesha and Matt.
That was a fantastic forecast, Casey. Thank you for that. But right now, we're going to talk about elephants that were at the Oregon Zoo.
Oh, that sounds like fun. I love talking about elephants, especially on Halloween. Maybe there's some people dressing up as elephants if they want to do that.
Maybe. But actually, the zoo feeds their elephants pumpkins for Halloween, so they get a little special treat. Now, these aren't small pumpkins that we know and love. These are 1,000-pound pumpkins.
Whew. Geez, that would be a heck of a pumpkin to carve, but that's interesting.
Yes, and they actually play in them, roll in them, eat them, just having fun with pumpkins.
I've never really thought to eat the whole pumpkin. Maybe the pumpkin seeds, those are the best. You slow roast them on a pan. Oh, those are good.
Yeah, definitely. But this has been a tradition for the Oregon Zoo. It's been around for years, so they do it every year, and their Asian elephants just love it.
Oh, that sounds like fun. I want to head out to the Oregon Zoo today to see them eat the 1,000-pound pumpkins. I've never even seen anything over a 40-pound pumpkin. But for now, we're going to send it on over to Tyler to take a look around at our local weather.
Thank you, Matt and Superwoman Ayesha. This afternoon was very warm and very nice looking outside, at least. You can see here we had some contrails with fair weather skies, high temperatures. We're in the middle 80s, which is a little bit warm for this time of the year. It's very clear across the area. A couple of high clouds, as I showed you in the previous picture, mainly towards the north, ahead of our next weather system, which will be coming here in about 24 to 48 hours. High temperatures today, again, were pretty warm across the region. 84 degrees in Tallahassee was a warm spot. The other areas were mainly in the upper 70s to lower 80s across the region, and this represents a temperature change of about 5 degrees above the average of 79. Right now, temperatures are pretty much the same. We're coming off a degree or two off the high temperatures. Across the state tonight, we have a little bit of shower activity right down there near Miami, and there you go, you can see it right there. And as I put this into motion, you can see where most of the rain is ahead of our next weather system over in the Louisiana and Texas area. That will come here later during the weekend and during the first part of next week, that'll actually be one of the first major rain producers for the South. It's been pretty dry here. Over the last month to month and a half or so, we've only seen about an inch or two of rain. And here, as we go into Sunday, you can see where the rainfall is mainly over the western Florida Panhandle. But if you're going to the game tomorrow, 12 o'clock kickoff, 83 degrees versus Syracuse at Doak Campbell Stadium. It'll be pretty warm for this time of year, but better than rain, which we've had for most of our home games, and the south-southeast winds at 5 miles an hour. If you're going out trick-or-treating tomorrow night, 73 degrees. It's actually pretty warm. Last year, we were in the 40s for Halloween, so it's about a 25 to 30 degree difference there. It feels more like South Florida, which is pretty typical for South Florida and where the parents are from, because it is Parents' Weekend. Going into the weekend, into next week, we will have the rain chance coming up. Mainly on Sunday and Monday, we could see an inch of rain. Going into next week, temperatures will stay around the same. The lower to middle 80s is a couple of degrees below average, but especially the low temperatures will be way above average in the 60s and 70s. But now we're going to send it over to Shane with the Southeast.
Thanks very much, Tyler. Yep, I'm student meteorologist Shane Pendleton, though I'd prefer it today if people call me Sherlock, Mr. Holmes if you're feeling a little bit too formal. As for the weather across the Sunshine State, as my associates and I would say, it's just boring. But we'll take a look at it anyway. Most of the Southeast has clear skies. We've got Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia all sitting pretty under fair skies. The radar only shows rain way out there in Texas. We'll have more on that when you look at the whole country in just a few moments. But let's talk about those temperatures. Right now we've got 83 in Tallahassee, much cooler, 74 up there in Montgomery, and 67 in Little Rock. You can tell where the cold front went through on this map. It's just elementary because we've got warm conditions down in Florida, 80s, with cooler conditions way off to the northwest. So that cold front is making its way down to the southeast, spreading cold air wherever it goes. Drier air as well, as our relative humidity will tell us. The very small percentage of 28% here in Tallahassee tells us that while it is quite hot out today, it is also very dry, which makes it just a little bit more bearable. A dew point of 79% out there in Shreveport. I can tell from that, with my awesome detecting skills, that it is very humid out there, and the water vapor map proves me correct. We've got bright shades of green from Shreveport to Little Rock moving into the Tupelo, Mississippi region because they've got a lot of upper level moisture there, which is raining down on them in the form of precipitation and some very strong thunderstorms, so keep your eyes and ears open for those. Dry air abounds over much of the Sunshine State, which is living up to its name, but we're right on the cusp here in Tallahassee, so keep your eyes open. We'll be seeing rainfall moving in throughout the weekend. Here's a look into the future right now as to what that rainfall is going to do. It's going to continue to drench the states of New Orleans, the city of New Orleans and the state of Louisiana into Mississippi, Alabama. Then it'll arrive here on our doorstep in Tallahassee Sunday evening around 6 o'clock p.m. And we'll have a very gray and rainy Monday, it's looking like, but stay tuned for another 7-day to find out for sure. As for tonight, 57 degrees here in Tallahassee, 50 in Atlanta, only down to 70 in New Orleans due to all that cloud cover, climbing to a high of 80 degrees tomorrow, 60s up to the north with 80s throughout most of the southeast. My associate Molly and I have some history at the desk later on, but for now we're going to throw it out to Jordan and Matt.
Hey, thanks so much, Shane. Real great forecast. The World Series is going on right now, and we're looking at some beautiful weather up there in New York.
Seems like it. We're seeing the Royals at the Met Stadium in Citi Field in Queens, New York. Tonight, the game starts at 8 o'clock, and they're looking at 52 degrees with mostly clear skies.
Now, this is the third game. The first two were over in Kansas City, and the Kansas City Royals were actually able to defeat the Mets. They've taken a 2-0 lead, and if the Mets are able to come back from this and win the World Series, they'll be one of only 11 teams to ever do this.
That's crazy.
Just a side note, the first team to ever do that was the 1986 Miracle Mets. They came back the first time they won the World Series from an 0-2 hole.
Wow, so I wonder if they'll able to do that again this time.
I know. But I'll definitely be tuning in. I'm real excited.
Sounds like it. But for now, we are going to head it out to the National with Andres.
Thank you, guys. And tonight, or tomorrow, is going to be Halloween, as everybody should know by now. And so if you have little kids, parents, if you have little kids yourself, or if you're not studying and you want to go out and just trick or treat and put on some costumes, well, go ahead. Tonight, we're going to have the FSU Flying High Circus tonight, so that should be pretty entertaining if you want to do something else tonight. But tomorrow, the main event is going to be football versus Syracuse. Hopefully, we win tomorrow. I'm pretty sure we are going to win. But you know what? If you have tickets, go. If you don't, go out to a tailgate or watch it at home. Have fun with that. Watches and warnings. We have a lot going on in Texas right now. We have flash flood watches, tornado watch, and a flash flood warning right now in Texas. They're getting pounded and pounded with more rain. They've had enough. They don't need any more, but they're going to receive some more here for a little bit. And as we move on towards Denver over here, they're going to have a frost advisory. So tonight, if you have family over there, just call them, tell them to put their plants inside, protect them. And down here in this little red right here in California, that's red flag warning. That means that the conditions are very dry and we have high winds, and that's conducive for fires out in the forest. But the radar, for the most part, you can see that there's a lot of rain just funneling up the mid-plains. And this rain is coming from, believe it or not, it's from Mexico. We have a little bit of a upper level low system trough that's feeding all this moisture up until the mid part of the country, along with a warm front that's sitting right around over here. So all that combination is just, they're getting pounded with a lot of moisture and a lot of rain. And it's extending all the way up into Nebraska and Kansas. So this is going to continue, but this is going to move all the way over to our part of the country later on in the next couple of days. But if we zoom in a little bit closer into Texas, you can see right here, this is a tornado watch that we're talking about with a little bit of these little green light, like highlighted green lines. That means that flood warning. So those little areas are mainly just little rivers or creeks that are flooding over. So folks over there, please, if you have family over there as well, just tell them to be careful and just take care, because it's all over the state. And as we can zoom into the radar over here, Dallas is about to get pounded by this line that's coming through. It's a very well-defined line, and also towards the middle of the state. But most of the rain that's been happening over there, it's been happening between San Antonio and Austin. That sits about right over here. Austin has received more than 10 inches of rain the past 24 hours. This whole summer, it just seems like they're getting pounded with a lot of rain. The futurecast, you can see all this rain. It's going to come head our way over here towards Tallahassee for the next couple of days. And by Sunday, it should be over here. So we're going to have a lot of rain either Saturday night, Sunday into Monday, with chances up to 60% on Sunday and as well as for Monday. And tonight's forecast over here in Tallahassee is going to be 57 degrees. And it's going to be pretty much uniform for most of the surrounding area, except for South Florida and off into Louisiana. And tomorrow's forecast, we're going to have 83 degrees over here, and it's going to be feeling pretty nice around us. And as you head a little bit further north, obviously the temperatures are going to go down. But for the most part, we're going to have a pretty good day tomorrow. And we're going to hand it off to Margaret with a look at the local.
Thanks, Andres. Yep, I'm here dressed up as Molly from Sherlock. That over the last 24 hours, that we had some really nice lows this morning. That we got down to 63 degrees here in Tallahassee, and we actually have made it up to 84 degrees. That not too terrible when you add in some wind, but with the humidity, it is a little bit rough. Currently around the area, 83 degrees here in Tallahassee, and you've got these low 80s around the whole area surrounding Leon County. A little bit cooler down by the coast and up in North Georgia with those upper 70s. That the coast gets that lovely sea breeze, and up further, just a little bit further north, they don't get quite so warm. Our radar is not broken. There's not a cloud in the sky to be seen. But if we extend this out to the southeast, we do see all this rain here in Texas, and it's slowly making its way here, but not quite yet. That our futurecast is going to show us that as we put it into motion, it keeps moving slowly this way through Saturday, and we don't really see it starting to creep into our area until Saturday evening. So if you have any plans for trick-or-treating, do keep an eye out in the rain. Maybe go find that umbrella. We haven't really needed them much this month, but maybe fish that out of whatever closet or back bit of your car it's been hiding in, because there is a good chance that you will need it. Now, if you're planning on going out on the water, we're going to have some light chop with seas 2 to 3 feet, so do be ready for that. And we do want to bring attention to the times with the sunrise and sunset, because daylight savings time switches this weekend. So with falling back, you will get an extra hour of sleep, or if you like to stay out trick-or-treating late, you could go do that for an extra hour too. It is all your choice. If you want to go out onto the sand on Saturday, it's going to be lovely. The surf is at 1 foot or less, And your biggest concern is going to be that UV index, which is high up at 6. So if you get sunburned easily, definitely break out the sunscreen because it is going to be needed. Now, tonight, 57, partly cloudy, so it's going to be nice and cool. And just be ready for just about anything. Now, planning game day. It's going to start off 64 degrees, really nice. By the time we get to that noon kickoff, 79 degrees. Perfect weather for a noon kickoff. I know some games that we've had in years past that start at noon that are beginning of September, and it just feels terrible. But having that mild afternoon, only getting up to 81, it's going to be a beautiful game day. Now for Halloween, if you're going out trick-or-treating or to parties, 73 degrees, partly cloudy. As I mentioned, there is that chance of showers, so break out the umbrellas or ponchos, so be ready for that. And as we go into the rest of the week, again, a reminder of that extra hour of sleep that you could be getting going into Sunday. Rain chances Sunday and Monday and tapering off through the week, and we start to cool off. And now I'm going to send it back to the desk with Jordan and Matt.
Thanks so much, Margaret, or should I say Molly, as of now, for being Sherlock Holmes' assistant. But tomorrow night is actually Halloween. I'm looking forward to it. Looking like great weather, actually. A low of 57 degrees and only a 20% chance of rain, but that doesn't look to affect the nighttime at all.
Oh, I know. I'm really excited. I got some big plans going out for it. I'm hoping it holds off and stays nice.
Yeah, and costumes, by the way, if you expect to wear something long, you're not going to be sweating in it anytime soon because low 57, that looks absolutely great. A couple of spotty clouds and a very light breeze, but any time we do expect any rain would be Sunday and Monday with 60% chances that next system moves in.
Okay. Well, good. It's going to hold off until after you know much of the festivities going on.
Oh, I hope so.
As for the rest of the weekend, we're looking forward to Parents' Weekend. The Flying High Circus is going to happen tomorrow night.
Yep.
Yeah. Should be a good show. But for now, I'm going to take it out to Ayesha with the Around Florida segment.
Thanks, Matt and Jordan. So we're going to look at our Big Bend area right now. Panama City, you're at 77 degrees currently. Tallahassee, we're at 83, and all the way down by the water, Apalachicola, you're at 76. So these temperatures are just gorgeous, and we're just really feeling nice temperatures overall throughout the week. Current conditions around Florida, though, Miami, we're at 82, and Orlando, you're at 84. But all the way in Jacksonville, you're seeing 72 degrees. They had a bit of cloud cover, and they might see some rip currents on their beach. So be sure to pay attention to that when you're going out on the beach with those nice conditions. Satellite and radar, nothing much happening right now, but even though there's nothing much happening right now, we might see some rain coming in later on Monday. So that rain from Texas that we were talking about earlier, you're going to see the satellite and radar light up around Monday when we do our show. So water vapor map showing you green how much moisture there is, and orange showing you how dry it is. And you can see not much happening in Tallahassee area, pretty dry, but over on Tampa and Orlando, they're getting a little bit of moisture in their area. Going into our relative humidity, this is showing you how much moisture is in the atmosphere and over how much moisture the atmosphere can actually hold. So right now our relative humidity is sitting pretty low at 28%. So Fort Myers, they're at 49, and Miami, you're all the way at 72. So showing you pretty much how much moisture is in the atmosphere and how likely will it rain. And Miami, 72, you're going to see probably some pop-up showers in your area. Futurecast showing you how much rain is going to happen throughout the week. And not much is happening on Saturday, but we're going to get into Sunday, and you're going to see that rain line and that cold front form over there, and it's going to come into our area hitting Sunday night. But on Monday, we're going to see 60% chance of rain as well. Going into tonight's forecast, 76 in Jacksonville, 57 in Tallahassee, and West Palm Beach, you're looking at 72. So pretty nice temperatures for our lows for tonight. Going into tomorrow, though, Jacksonville, you're at 83. But remember, folks, tomorrow, Jacksonville, you might see some fog because some moisture will be popping up in your area. 87 in Orlando and 87 in Tampa right now. Going into tomorrow's forecast, 72 for your Halloween high, and Jacksonville, you're looking at 63. 63 for your high tomorrow. So these temperatures are just gorgeous for Halloween. In Miami, you're at 76. So trick or treat to your heart's content, folks. Now you know my secret identity. I'm actually Supergirl. I'm going to take it back to the desk for more. Actually, I'm going to take it to Jordan because he's going to give us some traffic, right?
Not tropical, actually. I wish, good thing we don't plan to see any traffic anytime soon, and we don't plan to see anything tropical anytime soon either. If we look at the hurricane climatology for October, this red is exactly where hurricanes are most likely to form, and these arrows point in the direction of where it is most likely to go. So this time of year, we're looking closer to the Caribbean and the Gulf for any kind of hurricanes. But as we go out to the Atlantic infrared satellite, there is absolutely nothing out there of any disturbance, and we don't plan to see anything for another 48 hours or so. We do have a couple of rain up here, but nothing to worry about. If you can look all the way into Texas, you can see all that rain that they've been experiencing earlier. Nothing tropical right now. If I can back out of the way, see most of Florida, nothing there. Just a couple of spotty clouds up near the Panhandle. The main story is all this severe weather and heavy rain that we've been seeing in Texas, where some historic flooding has actually been happening and taking place, kind of like what we saw in South Carolina earlier. But I'm going to pass it off to Mackie, who is going to show you some more about that severe weather out there.
Hey, thanks so much, Jordan. As he mentioned earlier, we are seeing a lot over in that southwest Texas area. You'll see across the map, it's just lit up. We got a lot of rain moving up past the Dallas area, but if you look in between San Antonio and the area of Austin, you're going to see a lot of these warnings. Right here, these thin red, the box marked in by the thin red lines, that's actually a tornado watch, meaning conditions are very favorable for the formations of tornadoes, so stay safe out there. These are thicker red polygons, are actually flash flood warnings, so we're seeing a lot of rain moving up through that area with the potential to accumulate and cause some major damage. The lighter green you're going to see across all of this area is actually a flash flood watch, meaning it could happen, what with the rain moving through this area. Down on the coast, through the Gulf Coast, into Louisiana, this lighter green we're actually seeing is a coastal flood advisory. So as you can see, a lot going on in this area, and we're hoping the folks out there are staying safe and we're keeping them in our thoughts. As far as storm reports go, we have been seeing some isolated incidents of tornadoes and wind damage all across the state. You look San Antonio too, right around here, one further down closer to Galveston. Those are wind damage, those little blue ones. This two red things right here in the San Antonio area moving up into Austin are reports of tornadoes that have made landfall. Just going to give you a bit of the update on the Futurecast map. Should be this precipitation moving through the area. We see a lot up into Dallas, the cloud cover up through the area. Houston seeing some rain. But for right now, we're going to pass it back to the desk with Shane and Margaret.
Thanks, Matt. As promised, Sherlock and Molly here have your weather history for the day. Hurricane Sandy, 3 years ago.
Yep, 3 years ago yesterday, Hurricane Sandy made landfall in New Jersey and affected 15 states, was it?
Yes, 15 states were without power in some form or fashion on Halloween 3 years ago. A record 3 million customers in the New York and New Jersey region alone had a very dark and spooky Halloween.
I'd imagine. I wonder if any people had stocked up on candles for their pumpkins and ended up using them to be able to see through their apartments.
They sure would have had to. This storm was very devastating. It coincided with the full moon, which allowed tides to be 20% higher than normal, causing for a very severe storm surge in the lower Manhattan region.
I'd imagine that they closed up the tunnels so that way people wouldn't be in them when the storm surge did start.
Yes, if Sandy was anything for New York besides a flooding matter, it was a travel nightmare. And in the end, the storm caused $71.4 billion in damage. For now, we're going to throw it out to Matt Reagan with our last local.
All right, thank you guys. We're going to be checking in on our current conditions if you are heading on outside. Parents' Weekend, as we said earlier at the desk, is here. So we're going to be celebrating with some nice weather, at least over the next 24 hours or so. 83 right now here on campus. And then these two numbers here, the humidity and the dew point, are what make that 83 feel more like 70s. So you'll have 46 degrees dew point, 28% humidity. Feels kind of nice out there, and that wind is making it feel nice as well. Here's our local temperatures across the Big Bend. Pretty much uniform across our area. 80s and upper 70s in most of the region. Mainly that warmer weather and low humidity to boot is going to be making it feel rather nice out there over the next couple of days. Here we are sitting closer to the coast. We see those humidity values increase a little bit. Now that's just due to the proximity to water because of that area down there being so close to the water. If you are heading out to Carabel or St. Mark's for a nice seafood dinner tonight, you will be seeing those humidity values increase a little bit more. Now, as Margaret said earlier, the radar is not broken. We just don't see anything across our area right now. So we'll just skip over that and talk about our friends in Texas once more. They're getting the rain right now, and that'll start to move on into our area. So over the next few days, it's going to be a transition period across the area, and that's when we're going to be seeing those storms and cloudy conditions start to increase towards the latter half of the weekend. Maybe as the parents are starting to leave town, the drives may be less than pleasing going down the highways and the I-10 corridor. Now, let's get to our weekend planner because it's going to be looking gorgeous. Let's set this into motion. This is one of our in-house models. Shows the cloud cover increasing just a little bit into tomorrow, maybe some spotty clouds, and maybe just a sprinkle or two here and there, but we're not talking about a washout for the game. However, though, when we get into Sunday, this is when we see the activity increase. This big line of storms pushing all the way through our area. This is going to be the next player in the rainmaker department. This is going to be a little squall line that moves through, ushering in maybe those cooler temperatures early into next week as well. So now we get to the forecast that everyone's been waiting for, and that's Halloween. Let's look at this right here. Here's what we've seen in the past. We had a record high Halloween of 88 degrees, and then our record low was 52. Now tomorrow, where are we going to be sitting? Well, right about in the middle of those, 73 degrees for tomorrow about 8 p.m. Now, let's look at tonight's forecast because it's going to be a gorgeous one out there. We're going to be telling you to bring your jackets if the cooler weather does bother you just a little bit. 57 is what we're calling for, and that wind may make it feel just a little bit cooler out there, but going to be a comfortable night nonetheless. And then, of course, we have our game day planner. You heading on out to support the Noles, take on the Syracuse Orange. It's going to be a nice start out there for those early morning tailgates, and then 79 degrees at kickoff, and then the afternoon's going to be mild, probably a little bit sweat moving through your skin tomorrow, but really not too bad at all. And let's look at that zoomed-in look at Doak Campbell Stadium for tomorrow's game. Going to be gorgeous out there, 12 p.m. kickoff. 83 degrees. It's game day. It's Halloween. Parents' weekend. There's so much stuff going on. Guys, take us home.
Thanks, Matt. Now let's talk about this Florida weather, Molly. Very different from England.
Unbelievably warm.
Yes, you don't have to be a detective to tell that this state is just too hot. I think we need to find somewhere else in the U.S., somewhere a little cooler, where, well, my London garb won't be just too hot to bear.
Indeed.
Yes. So where will that be? What are the temperatures going to be like here over the weekend?
Over the weekend, starting to cool off a little bit, but it's going to take a couple more weeks before those fall temperatures finally arrive.
All right, for the next few weeks, we'll be up in the Northeast, where it won't be 82 on Saturday, 82 on Sunday. The rain's moving in. I could deal with some of that. It'll feel like home.
Ah, yeah, the welcome rain.
Yes, and then moving into next week, Florida's going to see conditions sunny with highs continuing to be in the 80s, lows in the 60s. Now, if you like FSU weather, you can follow us on Facebook or Twitter or watch us anytime at livestream.com/FSU weather.
And if you like looking at photos, check us out on Instagram, also at FSU Weather.
Thanks for tuning in to this year's Halloween FSU Weather Special. I'm student meteorologist Shane Pendleton.
And I'm student meteorologist Margaret Hollis.
Have a great Halloween and stay safe trick-or-treating, and go Noles.